Hello, 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 y'all. Once again, we're back, y'all. This has been a lovely week we've had, y'all. I've been blessed to be in the place with my great family member. We had a great day for Father's Day yesterday. I was able to go and preach yesterday, y'all, at St. Eli. It was an amazing. But we want to welcome y'all today to the Teddy and Monica Show, WFTB 104.1 FM, Tab Nashville Gospel Radio Show. Also, Sacrificial Conversations podcast being recorded right now. But y'all, we are going to have a great topic tonight. Tonight's topic, y'all, is a piggyback from yesterday. Father's Day is very important. I want to give a little history real quick before I dive off in this, y'all. Father's Day was first celebrated in the United States on June 19th, 1910 in Spokane, Washington. The idea for Father's Day came or was proposed by a young lady named Sonora Smart Dobbs. She wanted to honor her father, William Smart, y'all, who took care of six children, y'all, when his wife died. The lady wanted to celebrate her father so much, and she wanted to make it a celebration like Mother's Day was. And Mother's Day was already in existence, y'all. But the crazy part about it, y'all, when she had that first experience or tried to have that first day to have the Father's Day experience, it took a long time before Father's Day even came to be a national holiday, y'all. It didn't come a national holiday until 1972.
Wow.
So from 1910 to 1972, we still was fighting to have a Father's Day. So it hit me real hard, y'all, when I thought about that. I was sitting like, why is it so, or why did it take so long for Father's Day to be a national holiday?
Acknowledge, yeah. Took a while.
Monica, you got anything you want to say about that history, or you just what?
No, but you cut off what you were saying. So I'm gonna repeat a little bit because you jumped, you're moving fast. So yesterday was an awesome day. Yes, we did. We started out at St. Eli. Shout out to Pastor Randy Densmore and Lady Tawana Densmore. We started there with fatherhood. It was a lot of men there, surprisingly, a lot of men. And so Theodore was able to preach a fatherhood sermon. And we learned a lot regarding fatherhood. Then from there, we spent time with my father-in-law and my two brother-in-laws. So it was an awesome day on yesterday.
Yes, it was.
And it flowed into today. So when you have an awesome weekend, like we had family together. How many generations was present yesterday?
Ooh, we had three presents
generations.
yesterday.
So
Yeah.
Theodore got to dig in a little bit more. We had an amazing
I love it.
time on yesterday.
Yes, we did. Yes,
All
we
the
did.
kids were together, and us grown folks got to sit around and talk and let our hair down and relax. Our papa over there was having a wonderful time because how many men can honestly say they were with all their kids and grandkids on yesterday? Yesterday was truly a blessing. So I don't want him to shortchange that at all. It
Thank
was
you.
a
Thank you. That was
blessing
good, baby.
on yesterday.
That was
Yes.
good.
And
That was
it's,
good.
and I hope it gets better and better. Because everybody don't have their dads.
Yeah.
And our kids got their grandparents. And so we had an awesome time. So I just wanted to piggyback on that. But
That
far
was
as the
good,
history,
girl. Come on.
no, I did not know that. But I look at fatherhood as a wonderful thing. I don't ever want the men to be slighted because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you all.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's where I want to go with that. So I'm gonna put the ball back in your court.
I love it. I like where you went with that. So
Yes.
that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna introduce our guests for tonight, y'all, so they can let their voices be heard on tonight, y'all. I've been blessed to get my family here. Haven't had my true family on here yet, and I'm blessed tonight, y'all, to have y'all. Pops, we're gonna start out with you. Give us a little resume of what you've done in life, some of the things you want to tell the people tonight about who Theodore Chisholm Sr. is.
Well, Theodore Chisholm Sr. is born in Chicago, 1951, and my sister used to play a album. James Cleveland was an album that she used to play, and I would get in the mirror and direct the choir off that album. And she would tell her friends, "Come look at my brother direct the choir," you know. So that's how I got inspired to direct choirs, you know. And then I started directing my first choir at Tarrytown Missionary Baptist Church in Gary, Indiana, at 15. What happened was Johnny Gorman, the choir director that was there, he said, "I want you to lead a song called Jesus Rockin' Weary Land." I said, "Okay, I lead it." So I started leading the song. I guess I wasn't doing good enough. So he took it over.
Okay.
So I jumped down and started directing. So that's how I started, and that's where Tarrytown was my gift. As far as directing choirs, we were one of the top choirs in Gary, Indiana. I had a blind guy that played for me named Gloucester Williams.
I remember Gloucester.
Yeah. And he knew how to nod his head and all that kind of stuff. So we knew how to communicate to make it work, you know. So that's what I done, and then I formed a choir, bunch of choirs, you know. But the one that stick out most that brought me to Nashville was the Voices of Northern Indiana Voices of Deliverance. That was a choir I brought to sing on Bobby Jones' nightly concert that he had back in the day.
Okay.
And so I brought that choir, and we did what we do, you know. And I got up that morning and I looked outside and I saw the sun and the fresh air, the blue skies. I said, I got to live here, you know. And that's when I moved to Nashville, making $2.10 an hour. But we made it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we made it. And then, you know, I bought Cece and Teddy. And then I got married again, and I got Deborah Chisholm, and I got Erica and Nikwa. So I've got 4 kids, and they're wonderful. I've got great daughter-in-laws. I couldn't ask for better daughter-in-laws or son-in-laws. You know, so I just thank God that I'm here, you know, at 73.
Yeah, man, we're going to dive into that choir thing a little bit more. But that was a great introduction. You gave me something I ain't heard in have you heard that one yet, see?
I've heard a little
of that.
I've heard a little of it. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna introduce my big brother, father of 2. You know, he inspired me in a lot of things, y'all. He's the one who actually took me to change my career to what it is today, y'all. So I can say that he was my father in the business or entrepreneurship because he took me to a place that made me change my whole career around, bro. And I appreciate, you know, you taking me to that spot. So introduce yourself to the people tonight, bro.
Hello, world people. It's good to be here with my brother and my sister-in-law. I'm Cecil Chisholm, better known as Father of Cuts. And I just want to let you all know that I'm from Indiana too, from Gary, Indiana. And we came to Nashville. I think I was
1982.
You was a little younger than that. You was about 5.
About 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we moved to Nashville when I was about 5 years old, and went to school in this Nashville area. And we actually started in the Hermitage area, which was very interesting because we came from Indiana, which was a predominantly like black area. And we moved to a white area, kind of in that Hermitage area back in the 70s. And I remember back my first elementary school. I was going to elementary school with all these Caucasians, and I was like, Lord, you planted me here? What is going on? You know. But was very blessed and very honored that my dad decided to move to Nashville and bring us to this South area, you know, and it really enriched my life, and graduated back home in Indiana, you know, and decided to go into barber school, come back to Nashville and get in barber school, and became a master barber. and I've been cutting hair and doing it ever since 1992. Love what I do. Can't stop it. I love putting the swag on people, on young men and women.
Yeah, come on,
And
come on.
it's been a very blessing to my life. And I'm grateful that my mom, showed us this avenue, showed us this business, this industry, and it's been a very, very honor to just serve God's people this way. And also got saved back when I was 11 years old, got baptized and found the Lord. It was a church called Temple Baptist Church, Pastor Graves, and he dipped me in the water, and I came up, and then started trying to act like my daddy, doing this directing thing and trying to copy him. And I was his drummer over at a church called Watson Grove Missionary Baptist Church when we presided here in Nashville, and I was his drummer. But it was plenty more drummers because we had all kind of young men in the sanctuary that wanted to play, and we had motherboard, deacon board right there next to us, and pastor was like, you know what, y'all not gonna put these drums on these y'all can't play loud, y'all can't, I was like, wait a minute now, but anyway, getting to the story, was my dad's drummer, and we ministered and flowed in the spirit, and it was a gift of God, and I was just so honored to just have that privilege to just serve like that, and that's kind of my life and how I became who I am today.
Yeah. So, like I said, y'all, my family, my real family tonight, y'all. Pops, we're gonna dive in real quick this way. God's purpose for fatherhood. Fatherhood is a should be the highlight of children's lives. The purpose of fatherhood, though, y'all, just doing a little, we supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to be inspirers. We're supposed to help children grow spiritually, give them the growth that they're looking for. And Pops, I'm gonna start with you because Cecil gave us a little bit of what you've done for us. I didn't get a lot about your pops. When you were born, before your father died, how long? At what age did your father die? First of all,
At 45.
he died at 45. So how old were you?
I was around that 15 years old, yeah.
Okay.
When he died, yeah.
Okay, y'all. Me and Cecil never did get to meet our grandfather on this side, but Pops, give us a little bit of that. Tell us, because this is going to enrich me and Cecil tonight. What did you gain from him? If you didn't gain nothing, I mean, give us what you want to give us tonight about your pops. First of all,
Well, my father was one of them old deacons, could pray, and he took us to church every Sunday, and I would get in the car and I would go to church with him every Sunday, So he was a strong deacon, he was a strong person in the church. As far as making decisions, I know when we built Terrytown Missionary Baptist Church, I was helping to do the floor. I was picking up trash and stuff on the floor. Reverend Henderson was the pastor, and but that's what he was. You know what I'm saying? That really, we didn't really have any kind of relationship other than church. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because I know if you made a bad grade, he'll whoop you.
Yeah.
And he had one of them long belts. So we were scared of him. You know what I'm saying? And we not scared that we didn't love him, but scared for the respect that he made us have as children to a father.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I brought to you all. Was not to fear me, but to fear the situation. You know what I'm saying? So that was it. And when he died at 45, it really just, I didn't have much time with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he dropped dead of a massive heart attack.
Okay.
So, but he's the one that took me to church, made me go. And we enjoyed it. And that was it.
So did he make Therese? He made all y'all go.
Everybody went. He made my sister and them join a community choir at Tarrytown, put them in that choir so they could sing. You know what I'm saying? So he loved gospel music. I mean, because he sung, like I say, them hymns and stuff back in the day. You know, but that was it. I really don't know a whole lot more about him. You know what I'm saying?
It's amazing though. And Cecil, you can jump in, and Monica, you can jump in on in this what I'm about to say. But it's amazing that you still carried some of his blood or his thought, because you said he was in church. That's what you enjoyed to do. He was. You said he sung the hymns and did things like that. So, I mean, those things that you saw from him is what actually made you who you are in so many
Right.
ways.
It,
If you
it,
want
it,
to,
it put the blood in me.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It put the blood in me. Yeah.
Because I think about how we came up, and that's the one thing you did give us. That I say this every time that I get the opportunity to preach before people. I let people know that it was because of you taking us and making us. And I know, let me say that again, making us go to church that allowed us to, be able to have, because this is what church did for me. And see, I want you to piggyback off of this. And Monica, I also want you to piggyback off of this when I get a chance. But church, it gave me the ability to communicate better with people. Because I wasn't in a box because of the things that we did. We was actually leaders because we were out there in front of the people singing. We were playing the instruments. We were in the front most of the time in our career in church. We never sat in the audience, is what I'm trying to say. Every Sunday we either were singing, ushering, doing something, and we started that from a young age. So that's what I can say, and I'm saying this to the fact of that we should learn something from your father. Okay, so I'm gonna go to you real quick because I don't want to keep. I gotta put you in this conversation, baby. But from your father, what was something that you learned that took you into your adulthood in life?
Well, okay, so my dad, he worked a lot, so he was the one that made sure we got our homework. I know he attended church, he was a deacon and all that, but I never saw him really go to church. I think that was before my time. But for me, he was a provider. He made sure all the bills were paid, and he really didn't have to discipline us because we done everything he said do.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's my intake on it.
Okay, that wasn't a big intake, but I'm gonna take that.
Because I can't go with you with church because he was a deacon and all that. But when I was growing up, he didn't go to church.
So I'm saying,
I
but did
never
he-
saw him go to church.
So he taught you something that still stick with you, like the work ethics, or
Yeah, we had to work ethics. I just remember him working 3 to 11. He made sure we ate when we got out of school. We had a hot meal. My mom worked, so he made sure we ate.
okay.
I know I told y'all about the goulash stories. Whatever was in the refrigerator, he would just combine it all together. And we asked him one day what it was. It could be corn, spaghetti, cheese, peas. It just all got put in one big pot. And because he fixed it and he was dead and we ate it.
Okay,
So
okay.
those are my fun memories. So
And yeah, I'm dreaming this thing up, y'all, because Cecil, you give me something, bro. You got to give me something. What fatherhood? What did you got from pops? What was something that you got that took you to the next level in your thinking, or just something that you remember? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking these questions after you get done, bro.
Well, I spoke earlier in the introduction on how spiritually he kind of guided us to the church and guided us into a spiritual life, through his background of, singing and directing and that type of thing. But when it comes to I'm going to say it, being, hustling and being a businessman and an entrepreneur, I saw him take nothing and make it into a blessing. Like like he said earlier, he brought us in. He only made like $2 and something cents, an hour back in those days. I couldn't even believe of nothing like that. But to see the hustle and the work ethic that he did have, he worked 3 and 4 jobs and did things that showed me how to become, a entrepreneur, businessman, hustle to become this man that I have become, and I'm very appreciative of that side of him, and that's one thing that I really took to heart. We saw him working too, and spiritually working, but also working to provide. So that's what I got from him.
That's good. That's good. So, y'all, the reason why I went there and asked those questions because I'm about to come up on something now. What we learned, but I think that it's been hard for fathers and men to from the 70s to 60s to show their sons love. I don't know how it is with a daughter. That's why I'm glad I have you over here, Monica. But in the 60s and 70s, y'all, all I can hear, the most of the older men that I talk to, Pops, and I'm just listening to what you just said. Wasn't a lot of communication back in those days with the fathers.
No, it wasn't. First of all, they didn't know how to communicate.
Okay.
A lot of them didn't know how because you coming off of work in the fields, picking cotton and that. My daddy, I didn't just say this, but my daddy picked cotton.
Yeah.
Back in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he didn't really have any kind of communication skills with kids.
Yeah.
He had the kids, but he didn't have no communication skills at all. So like when I raised you all and Erica and Nico and everybody, I'm on trial and error. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking one day at a time. Trying to get it together, trying to make sense into how to be a father. And the main thing I wanted to do was just make you all have respect for life and for the people that loved you,
Yeah.
And that was it. But no, back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of fathers didn't know how to communicate to their sons,
Okay. So, quick question to you. That was good. Good segment. What was the difference in raising me and Cecil versus raising Erica and Shaniqua?
Okay. The difference in raising
Yes, sir.
the boys and raising girls.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You all watched me and just said, that's my daddy, and whatever he say, I'm gonna do. And you all were disciplined. You all still did what young men do as teenagers. You know what I'm saying? But you all hung in there. You all fought the fight. Erica and Nico were girls. I never raised a girl before. So, that was
different
really,
for you,
it was different. Yeah. I mean, you have to be passionate. They have to have a way to talk to you. You have to open that communication, and it's hard with girls,
Did you see your daddy talk to your sisters more than
No, no.
So he didn't even talk.
He didn't talk to them about nothing.
Wow. Wow.
So and I didn't know how, like I say, it's all trial and error, but Erica and Nico came out perfect, where their mother, Deborah Chisholm, who mother raised her hard, out of New York, you know what I'm saying? So she was very disciplined as far as the girls were. I mean, I didn't see Erica and Nico really do no crying a lot. They didn't play with dolls. They didn't do none of that. It was strictly church.
Yeah.
So but it's the difference. The boys are, on your side, they gonna be with you. The girls have to have that fatherly love, where they can communicate to the father, but not a lot. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do it a lot. They did it more so with Deborah than me.
Okay.
But I was there. The image was there.
Yeah.
The respect was there. You know what I'm saying? And they saw me fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Erica had to go to prom and stuff, and I had to make sure she got her dress and make sure she, got her face done. I mean, I did a lot, as far as that's concerned. So it was a beautiful experience. I wouldn't trade it for nothing anywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, so you having a boy and a girl, what was the difference in raising a boy and a girl in your life, because your children both, they grown now and graduated from college, what was that experience like for you?
It was also more a trial and error type of feel, but my daughter kind of was more a issue than my son, meaning, the finances of taking care of a daughter compared to a son. And then you had the daughter first. I had my daughter first. So the first baby kind of got spoiled per se. And my son kind of just is in the realm of things. So learning how to take care of the daughter and nourishing her and being able to provide for her made it kind of easy for me to do the son part, because even me having brothers and knowing how the sons are kind of lackadaisy per se, but that daughter, you have to keep on pounding that right information, or making sure she's doing the things that a daughter should do, with my wife being that one to help, what I'm saying, with that daughter side. But it was kind of a difficult type of role back in those days and those times, but I'm glad I'm past that, but it was a difficult time to raise children in a world that is corrupt and going through what it's going through.
So that was good stuff, Caesar. Good stuff. And it's so crazy. I'm the opposite of you. I had my son first, then my daughter last. So it's been an experience, just watching a boy and a girl, the difference in the both of them. So I really can say that it is a blessing to be able to raise both. It was hard. I think girls are harder than boys. Can you say, can both of y'all say that?
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, totally.
I'm in agreement.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
In
Finances and all.
In your situation, though, Monica, I feel like the boys were harder than you. What's your thought about that?
I know Theo always said I was a little hard on. We were hard on him, but I think because it was a boy, I didn't want him to be. I want him to be our boy, so we didn't. We didn't. I don't know. I don't want to say spoiled him, but we demanded a lot from him, and he even told me that he's like, "Mom, you made me." Because I tell him, "Hey, I want straight A's. I want this. I want that." And anything I asked for, he would do. He excelled. But the girl part, oh my goodness, that's a whole different ball game. They whine, they cry, and it just melts your heart. So I think we're a little more lenient with the girls than the boys. But yeah, I think the boys are. Yeah, it's different. It's tough. And then when you get to the age where they're older, they're teenagers, you worry because of the police and different things that they can get themselves into.
Yes.
Didn't want him to come up with a baby out of wedlock. Yeah, so we went through a few little things with him, some challenges, but I would say, but God. And we also made sure they both were in church. That's the biggest thing. And we taught them to rely on God, because what if something happened to one of us, then they would have to, depend on the Lord. So I want to say a boy is yeah, it's a little more difficult than a girl.
You say okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you get those two perspectives from a woman and a male. That's good though, baby. I like that, y'all. Real quick, y'all. I feel like children are the best investments that we have on this earth. Everything else that we do, it's good. Our business is beautiful. What we invested in our lives, but I truly feel like children are the best investments that we can have. And Pops, we're gonna start with you on this one. I feel like when you invest time, love, your money, everything that you put into your children, and you see your children in their life as they grow and they're grown, and you look back and you like, okay, that they really are doing something with their lives, and they're doing something. I'm not saying that every child is gonna grow up and be what you want them to be, because I know you never thought I'd be what I was gonna be.
Well, no. First of all, all four of you all have exceeded my expectation.
Okay,
As
okay.
far as business wise, Erica and Nick with their master degrees and I have to contribute all that again to their mother because she has 5 degrees. Dr. Deborah Chisholm, Dr. Deborah Millette Chisholm, she has 5 degrees. So that inspired them. She wouldn't let them stop.
Yeah.
Y'all getting your master's degree. She pushed that. And what I pushed in you all, like Cecil said, was to get out there and get it. Whatever you got to do to get it, and Teddy, you said you didn't even know you was going to be a beautician, and one day the spirit of the Lord touched you, and that's when you say, I'm going to school to be a beautician. Cecil always wanted to be a barber because he started cutting hair back when he was in high school.
Yeah.
So I mean, kids are. What I can say about mine, David, it's a great investment.
Great investment.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man. It's a great investment.
See, what's your thoughts about that? That I feel like it's the greatest investment that you put into, even if they didn't exceed what you want them to in life, but still.
I'm in agreement. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. That it's a investment and me not knowing where their lives was going, but you as a father, you kind of want them to take on what you're doing or what you've done or kind of walking your path per se. But sometimes you can't expect that out of your children. You got to let them have their own life per se. So I was really on my son, meaning trying to say, your daddy got this good legacy. You need to be a bar or think about cutting. Let me show you how to cut, all that type of good stuff, right? But really he wanted to take on the side of music instead of that side of it. And I kind of was grateful. I was very grateful because I wanted to do music also, but him deciding to do it and pursue it the way he has exceeded me. I didn't go to college or learn how to read music. Like my son knows how to read music.
Come on,
CJ. I played by ear. I learned how to to do it listening to the music. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of my way of. But to be skillful and to have the skill of I'm very proud of him and the investment we put into him to do that. It's hard because I wanted him to be a sports. I wanted him to be athletic, but I saw that he was not pursuing it as an athlete. I knew he was not doing things athletes do, but he wanted to play football. He wanted to play basketball, but when it comes to really knowing the sport, I was like, son, you're not out here running, you're not out here working out, you're not out here going to. But when it came to that music, he was on that music, working out. He was making his he was a DJing, making his beats. So I saw that, and I had to invest into that path.
That's right. That's right.
I was going to invest into the football and into the basketball and into the sports, right? But when I saw, like my daughter, she wanted to be a cheerleader, and we invested into the cheering and that was just money pouring out, But she found herself as being a nurse, and serving people and serving. She wanted to serve the people and really kind of realized, cheering kind of wasn't going to be, or she wasn't going to get a scholarship through cheering. But now she's a nurse at Vanderbilt, and I'm grateful that she decided to. But we had to invest in something that didn't work.
Yeah.
And
something
then
that did work.
Come on in, start investing in something that did work. So yes, it is a serious investment.
Monica, your thoughts on that real quick before we go on from that?
Yeah, I can piggyback off Cecil. We've invested in a lot of sports and different things. Theo, he realized that engineering was his. Trinity, we really thought it was going to be basketball, but it ended up being flag football. So we're still investing because we have to invest, especially since now she's going to college, and she got a scholarship for it. So I told her that's her job.
Yeah.
So I'm on her each and every day to make sure you honor this job. I know you're not getting paid by money, but they're paying for you to go to school so that you can be the best athlete for them for that school. So it's a constant pour into your kids, not only financially but physically, mentally, spiritually. We, because each day I know we all pray for our families because you got to have that protection, especially off in this world. So we keep them lifted up. Well, they going to a job.
It's good, man.
Continue to ask God to bless them in school.
Well, you got something you got to say. Come
Yeah,
on,
you
come
now
on.
go
No,
finish.
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We
No,
just gotta keep them lifted.
Yeah, I just think that the Chisholms, as far as our family's concerned, we are a strong village.
I like that.
And that's what I want to make sure, and it takes all of us to do it. But I've got all of the top 4 in college and doing what they go do. Now I've got Bryson, Braxton, and Zoe. And my thing now is to make sure Bryson and Braxton and Zoe makes it to the level that Lizzo, T, Trinity, and Christian did. So we're a village. I mean, I love it.
So I've saved this one here for later, y'all. We finna dive a little bit deeper.
Okay.
And Pops, we gonna let you answer last.
Okay.
Monica, we're gonna get you in there, but Cecil, I'm gonna start with you. Okay. Bro, what is something, because first of all, let me read this scripture, y'all. Let me read this scripture real quick. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are gone away, and now things are appear brand new. I use that scripture because the question I'm about to ask now, it reflects our character. What is something that in being a father you wish or you felt like that you didn't do that you could correct, or that you did correct that made you a new creature that actually pushed you to be a better parent, or what was something that you went through with your children that you felt could have hurt them? And I'm gonna come out to you. I'm gonna be an open book, and I mean, if you don't, I ain't trying to get you to like tell no bad story, but what is something that you feel like you could have done better as a father for your children? Made you think right there, boy. Made you think.
Yeah. Because like Pops was saying, even too, we're doing it by the grace and the trial and errors, But I want to say the embracement, the hugs,
Affection.
yeah, the not that I didn't give them affection or put the affection there, but I do know that we're not a, like, I say, baby, sweet, to my daughter. I'm speaking to my, come give daddy a hug, and it's not that we don't hug, but I wish that we would had that more,
Yeah.
Not that we don't have it, but it's kind of
Distant.
yeah. I mean, even in my life, I'm the affectionate part didn't come,
Wow.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, y'all.
and I want to say that I don't want it to sound strange, but I see it now in my time now. I'm looking over what's, and me and my daughter, we love them, but we go at it. You know what I'm saying? We'll go at it more than we are affectionate
hug,
and embracing.
yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I know she loves me, but or Cecil loves me, Cecil Jr. loves me, but we don't just, I cuddle with my wife, yes.
Yeah.
I cuddle with her, but I didn't figure that out. And now I'm getting it now, but now they don't want it. They're like, what are you doing, Dad? Dad, you didn't, you this is strange.
Yeah.
So I want to say that affectionate part, I want to say to the community and world, try to work on that more and make sure that happens and that it flows to the point to where it's not a habit. It's just natural. Yes. And we didn't have that.
No.
And I'm learning that it's needed.
It's needed, bro. I'm so glad I saved this segment for last, you all, because that just set the tone for the whole conversation, bro. You just set the tone for the whole conversation. I'm gonna piggyback off of you, and that was a great thing that he said, and I feel like that's the reason why Father's Day is not as big as it is. Okay, I'm gonna tell. Mine is finna piggyback right off of what you just said, bro. The affection. My thing that I feel like I did wrong as a father, I didn't spend time the way I should have as they grew up. I felt like I had to work, and then I was selfish with my time when I came home when I at a younger age because I wanted to do me when I came home instead of diving into the children's homework, diving into the children's going to the games, going where they needed me to be. I redeemed myself. That's why I read that scripture that I read. I redeemed myself and I became a new creature as I got older at their last part in their life, in their teen years. And I missed so much. Monica showed me a video, y'all, of Trinity at a thing dancing. She was in a competition and she was dancing, doing her thing. And I'm sitting there looking at this video like, when did this happen?
Where were you?
Where was I at? I was like blown away because she up there getting it, and I'm sitting like, I missed so much of my children's life at a young age because
To provide, but to provide though.
I'm gonna say to provide, but I see now
That it was needed.
it was needed because I see it, what like the relationship with me and my daughter. I could have gave her more time at a younger age because I was vacant from the home, baby. Pretty much, I would be at the shop, y'all, 15, 16-hour days. Okay, so affection, time spent. Pops, we gonna go to you.
Okay. And I'm saying all of that was in me raising you all. I didn't give you all any affection. All I did was work and made sure y'all have food on the table and that kind of thing. Didn't go to many games. When you had to go to the prom, I made sure you had a nice car. But a lot of the affection I didn't give. I didn't give it to Erica, Nico, you, or Teddy. Cecil. So by you all not getting it from me, quite naturally, you didn't know how to give it to your kids.
Wow.
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 If I didn't teach you how to do it,
Wow.
then you never would know how to do it. That's why fathers of today have to learn how to communicate and how to create that love, with their kids, because as you get older, it affects everything.
Everything, Pop.
Everything. You try to do gatherings and all like that. That affection affects the whole story. But you got to be strong and build off of it.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done over the years. We've built on that relationship, and that's how come we had a good Father's Day yesterday.
Yeah.
That's how come we have good Mother's Day. Because we're building on it now.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I read that scripture. Old things become brand new. When you put the work in and when you do what you. It's called redemption.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of us have redeemed ourselves in the eras that we messed up in.
Right.
Right. And it's amazing that it takes growing and really, really looking at yourself, because I had to look at everything, you know.
You got to look at what you was doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because those kids are not at fault, and or even with us, we weren't at fault. You know,
Right.
we was on your back. We was behind or
Y'all
running.
were looking at me. I was the
Yeah.
model.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the one that was supposed to be, like you said, when we started leading our kids, giving them direction, you know. But how do you give direction when you don't know?
Wow.
You have to fight the trial and error, you know.
Wow. It's
But if it comes out clean, you're all right.
yeah. And that's, you know, I don't want to preach. I don't want to go off
there.
in there, but I'm about to go here. You all, you have to understand. And this is why I gave us this topic, that fatherhood is not a mistake, because you have to understand. And when you think of a father who birthed a son, knowing that he had to have him executed or murdered or killed. Talking about God with his son Jesus Christ. Y'all know where I'm going with that. He knew that he had to give his son up like that. He knew he had to neglect his son. His son cried out to him, "Father, why have thou forsaken me?"
Yeah.
We could have cried those things sometimes with you. I know my kids could have cried those things to me. Why have you forsaken me sometimes?
Yes.
But it was not a mistake. So I take what all of us said, and I pray that it made my children, and I'm gonna come to you as a mother, and as a daughter, the things that your father didn't do. How did it shape you or mold you, first of all?
Well, I relate with Cecil, because my daddy, we didn't do any hugging, any I love you, none of the above. And so that's why I always went the extra mile for my kids and my family. And I know a lot of times you didn't understand it, but I'm like, I didn't get it, I said I was going to do better than my mom and dad with me. And so I still didn't do the hugging like Cecil said, because my kids like, well, mom, you really never hug and really just kiss us. You give us a pat, you know. But it's getting better. Even with my dad now, you know, he does a lot better hugging me and telling me he loves me now that I'm older. But I always want to say it's never too late. It's never ever too late.
There you go.
Yes. Y'all, we all know about the word alma mater. Okay, when you go to college, you know, you graduate, you know, your alma mater is where you went. Just doing a little research about that word alma mater. Alma mater actually in the Greek means mother. When I came up on that, I was sitting there like, alma mater means mother. What means father in this word? It drew me to a place of we got to find something, or we got to do better with our boys, our children. Because untaught child, y'all, if he's not taught at home, we just gave some of the scenarios that will happen later on in their lives. Thank God that, like I say, nothing is a mistake, but I feel like, to make fatherhood go to the next level, we have to really, really talk more like this.
Yes.
We need to talk to other men, especially younger men that's fathers.
Right.
I appreciate you all coming tonight and laying and laboring with me tonight about this topic, because it's not a hurtful thing. It's gonna become a healing thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a healing thing for me and you tonight, see, just to hear what you said, you know.
Yeah.
And we have to get better. We have to get better with our communication. Y'all both said something yesterday. Y'all said that one of the ministers at the men's fellowship at Mount Zion said that men have to communicate more.
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all expand on that a little bit before we get off this L? What was he saying about that part?
Well, when it comes to brotherhood, we need to look after each other. And when it comes to us as men, we like to hide our our truth. We don't put the truth out there. You know, you ask a man what you're dealing with, what you're going through. Oh, I ain't going through nothing. I ain't dealing with nothing. But really, it is something on the inside that he's dealing with, and the conflict there, the battle. You know, you want to you feel embarrassed. You feel like you are not. I want to say pleasing. You know what I'm saying? So we as men have to become better communicators with one another.
That's good. See,
You know, directly talking in each other's face per se. You know, looking each other eye to eye. You know, the handshaking. You know, it sounds old fashioned, but really that is the true. You know,
That's the core.
the simple things. You know what I mean? Is the way you get back to the maturity and the reality of what you're trying to do and become as a character, as a man. You know, so we kind of got out of that conference. You know, to be direct, to be informed, to inform one another. You know. What you just gave us tonight, you know, it helped us to inform us more and give us more about the history of where you come from, and we got to learn each other that way. Not necessarily to get deep in your Kool-Aid, no, not that, but to where we can just abide in a safe space and just be able to be open and reveal what is hurting, what is down,
That's
what
good.
is going to help you or what you need. You know, stop holding back, men. Just become better communicators.
That's good. That's good. Pops, we're gonna let you give the conclusion tonight real quick. We're gonna let you give it to us. I'm gonna say something, Monica. I'm gonna let you go before me because Cecil, you just gave a awesome conclusion, and you said it all with what you said about communication. Monica, your conclusion of tonight's conversation.
My conclusion is real quick. Each one of you are awesome men of God, excellent role models, and I think our kids can honestly say they have an awesome grandpa, or awesome uncle, and awesome dads.
That's good. That's good. My conclusion for the night. First of all, I gotta thank you all again. Y'all don't even understand how blessed this was for me tonight to have you two on. We're recording some history together, y'all. That was the biggest thing. And if something ever happened to one of us, we got this.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? We're all, and that was one of the main purposes for this is that I asked because
You got an archive.
I got something I could say. You know, and if something that was to ever happen to me, we can say we did this. But my conclusion, like Monica said, I appreciate you first, Cecil, for being who you've been. You know, you've been a great role model. We've had our ups and downs as brothers, as all brothers do. But you've been a great role model. But obviously, you've been a great father. You know, that's the one thing I can look at you and say that. And I appreciate your role that you played in my life and the things you showed me. Pops, I told you yesterday, your one seed is gonna see 4 generations.
Right. And it's an honor. I mean, it's great. I mean, anytime I can get together with all of you all, you know, I mean, if somebody can't be there, it hurts me.
Yeah.
You know, it messes with me if everybody can't be there. But I understand they in college and all that kind of stuff, going to school, working, teens in Memphis. I mean, I understand. But at the same time, I'm looking at the separation. You know, because now when we all get together, those Zoe and Trinity being in class and be in school, in college. You know, T and Trinity, I mean, Christian are doing what they do. So
might have to work.
Yeah. So what's happening now? The getting together gets smaller. You know, I'm watching it all just, you know, age wise, watching it all just diminish. You know, to what it is. You know, they're gonna have their kids. You know, they gonna be getting married. I mean, all that stuff. So you know, when you look at your life, that's how you have to look at it. You know, and we here for a season.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I'm grateful for the season. You know, and I love what you're doing, Ted, as far as this podcast is concerned. I love it. You know, that you're still communicating.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
that you're still reaching out to people. You know, and you both have a ministry with your barber and being a beautician. You know, y'all got a ministry. I gotta say, the girls, the Erica, Deborah, Niqua, they got a ministry as far as the school system's concerned. And so, as father, me being a father, grandpa, I love it. I appreciate it, and keep me in your prayers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's it. That's it, y'all. Y'all, another amazing show. I'm grateful, grateful, grateful. You all. You have been listening to WFTB 104.1 FM, Tab Nashville Gospel Radio Show, and also the Sacrificial Conversations podcast. This has been a night for me, you all.
Wonderful.
Very, very, very special night for me, you all. Piggybacking fatherhood is not a mistake, y'all. Y'all have a blessed night. We love you all, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Y'all be blessed.